Okay, here's another question about an iterative formula, and they've asked us to calculate or find the values of x1, x2, x3, given the fact that x0 is 3.5. What this formula is doing is edging towards a more accurate result of x. And how it works is you put the first value into here. This will be our x0, so n is 0. So this will produce us x1 if we put x0 through the arithmetic on the right-hand side of this equation. So x0 leads to our value of x1. x1 now goes in here as now an old value and produces a new value, x2. This is a perfect job for a calculator. And let me explain how it works. What we first of all got to do is introduce the calculator to the starting value of 3.5. So on the calculator you write, and I'll try to do these in white, you type in negative 3.5 and then type in equals. What it's done is it's set the memory location in the calculator called answer, and that now has a value of negative 3.5. So what we now need to do is enter the formula into the calculator with that button answer in place of xn. So our buttons will be minus 3 minus, now this will need a bracket, 2 divided by answer squared, close brackets. Now when I push equals, I will get the value of x1. Now, if I push equals again, this becomes the new value of answer. And the calculator will go through this same routine again. So this next line will be x2, push equals, and I get. And they want x3, so here we go again, x3. So those are the answers they require. But it's worth taking a moment just to see what's happened. First value, negative 3.5. That's our starting point. And look what's happened, 3.16, 3.19. You see, it's basically setting 3.19 as the likely first three numbers of the answer. And it's tidying up the lower decimal places. And eventually, if you keep pushing equals, 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 it will decide that the number is fixed for the first 10 decimal places, let's say. But you see, it keeps going on. What we've created is a sort of a staircase, but those stairs get smaller and smaller and smaller in height. We'll never ever reach our destination. We'll just get more and more accurately close to it, if you understand what I mean. Let's have a look at part B. Explain the relationship between these values and the equation x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2 equals 0. So what we've got to do is we've got to transform the iterative formula back into an equation that would include just x. So instead of xn plus 1 and xn, we've just got to write x. And if we multiply through by x squared, we'll get rid of the denominator in this term. So we multiply everything by x squared. X multiplied by x squared will be x cubed. Negative 3 multiplied by x squared will become negative 3x squared. And because the x squareds cancel here, we've just got negative 2. Getting quite close. They've got everything on the left, and so will we. These two terms have got to move, and they both become positive because we're going to be adding, first of all, negative 3x squared to both sides, and then a positive 2 to both sides. So we get, therefore, x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2 equals 0. But that doesn't quite explain the relationship. This is clearly a cubic, x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2. So this has a shape. And what this is saying is, when does that shape equal 0? So in general terms, the shape is given by the function y is equal to x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2. And that would describe the whole of the function's shape. And being a cubic, it could be this. or even this. But you get the idea. So whatever happens, the cubic can cross the axis, and these crossing points, as you know, are called roots. So if this is the general expression for the function, this is asking a question. When is that function 0? In other words, what value of x are we at that creates these 0 function values, and therefore the crossing points of the x-axis? And that's the relationship the iterative formula gives you. It's given us one of those crossing points, which by the iteration method gets more and more accurate to the exact point of that crossing point. So in terms of the answer to the question, I would think you'd need to write something down like x1, x2, and x3 are increasingly accurate values for the x-coordinate of the root of the equation x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2 equals 0. And that would be your answer.